something strange has happened to Channel 4. Which in itself isn't actually that strange. This is Channel 4 we're talking about. On Tuesday the 29th of September 2015, completely out of the blue, with no advance warning just to confuse you, Channel 4 launched a top-to-toe rebranding of its main channel. The first in over a decade. And as you can see, the blocks are back in style. Floating, bouncing, occasionally sprouting googly eyes, and taking an active part in the actual trailer branding itself. And I think that's brilliant. Literal deconstruction of the classic Channel 4 logo, placing it back front and centre in the channel's identity, albeit in modular form. I could do without some of the clashing or strangely washed out colours, and I'm not entirely sold on the new font, although it's certainly less inexplicably aggravating than the old one. The metronomic music is pretty neat too. All in all, it's a pretty good redesign, except for one crucial factor: the idents. The new idents premiered successively during each commercial break in the sad Welsh children's Smile Time hour, between 9 and 10 on Tuesday the 29th. You're looking at the first. Pretty unedifying. Next up, what the fuck am I looking at? Okay, number 3. Okay, so at least this one's actively engaging with the blocks theme, but I still haven't seen hide nor hair of the Channel 4 logo anywhere. Finally, number 4. Okay, is the station itself having a breakdown? On seeing these, I, like many others, assumed I was looking at previews and that the Channel 4 logo would somehow come to be involved in the final product itself. Nope, that is the final product. As you can see, if you flip on Channel 4 right now, assuming you're watching this between programs, that's not idents. That's not what idents are. Let's dig out the press release and see if that can shine any light on what the hell's going on here. Okay, the first part of the press release that isn't just marketing bibble says, "We didn't want to tell people what channel they're watching. We wanted to tell them why they're watching it in the first place." No, that's wrong. You're meant to be telling people what channel they're watching. These are idents. That's what they're for. As for the concept itself, the idents show the blocks as kryptonite-like. They tell the story of their origin and how they have a powerful impact on the world around them, just as Channel 4 does. That is actually quite a neat concept. The blocks as some sort of elemental substance being dug out of the earth. You could have fun with that. And they don't. They're so po-faced, not to mention oblique, which only serves to heighten the concept's basic pretension and not its potential. The idents are made by Jonathan Glazer, and I have nothing against Jonathan Glazer, far from it. He's made 3 films so far and they're all awesome. Before that, he directed some of the most iconic music videos and adverts of all time. And I imagine him going home after working on these and waking up in the middle of the night thinking, "Oh shit, I forgot to put the logo in." Because a lot of these would work perfectly well if they just stop rambling and include the actual Channel 4 logo. Which, incidentally, is once again being rendered in 2 dimensions. Not that you'd necessarily know it, because outside of the news and weather, you won't be seeing the logo on screen. Because that's far too conventional for Channel 4. The idents do cut to a sort of break bumper blip vert of shuffling blocks once the announcer's finished talking, but that's not enough. There is a line between merely unconventional and needlessly obtuse to the point of non-functioning, and I think these idents cross it. And I'm being kind to them because I actually like the videos themselves. To an extent. And as I said, I quite like the concept of the sort of elemental power of the blocks. Then I'm a pretentious pseudo-intellectual douchema prick with an arts degree who's genuinely wearing a polo neck right now. Normal people would just come away confused and probably quite disturbed. I mean, this, or this, or this, is going to introduce Countdown. They would have been great as oblique promotions of the order of that parkour thing BBC One had to introduce the dancers. But they don't work as idents because they don't identify. I mean, the clue is in the title. And that's because increasingly people in advertising and marketing and design are just hopelessly out of touch with real people. They don't realise that the vast majority of people aren't North London new media toss rags with art degrees and trust funds. And if they want to be challenged, and hopefully they do, by a TV station, then they'll be challenged by its programming and not its brand identity. Because brand identity is not a term used in real life. It's a marketing term that applies to marketing alone. Brand identity shouldn't be your first priority when creating idents. Their actual function should be first priority. Like I said, everything else about the rebrand I like. It's a great use of Lambinen's original design, and it just underlines why it's so iconic, and why it's so ironic that they seem hell-bent on hiding it from us. It's like they came up with this great concept, this proper unifying presentation package with a central theme and everything, all except for the idents, and then they just rang up Jonathan Glazer and asked him to do whatever the hell he felt like. There's also far too few of the idents themselves. Assuming there are only 4 of them, I get the feeling that we've only been shown the first 4 so far, and that more are forthcoming relatively soon. They've certainly promised to continue the story, for what it's worth. Ultimately, it just reminds me of England's rugby team. They get themselves into a winning position, and then throw it away in the last 5 minutes. Still, it'll be interesting to see how it develops. And one thing can't be denied. It is very Channel 4. An homage